Hi, I'm your host, Anand J. Sukadia, and this is the Limitless One podcast. Join me on this journey as I interview the most inspirational souls who are tapping into their limitless blueprint on a mental, physical, and spiritual level to thrive in uncertain times. If you feel you are so much more than just this body, just this life, and want to tap into your limitless potential, you're in the right place. Here we go, starseeds. If you believe in taking personal responsibility for your life, you will also believe that we are the artists and we get a blank canvas to build the life of our dreams. I get truly inspired by individuals who follow their life's purpose and flourish in all aspects of the wheel of life, relationships, business, health, and more. Welcome to the Limitless One podcast. I am your host, Anand J. Sukadia. Take out a notepad for today's conversation with one of the most renowned plastic surgeons in the world. We talk about his story of cultivating an ever-evolving positive mindset, his philosophy on how to create an exceptional team, and how he's making incredible waves and impacts in the lives of all of his patients. Welcome to the podcast, Dr. Ryan Neinstein. Dr. Ryan Neinstein is a board-certified plastic surgeon in New York City and owner of Neinstein Plastic Surgery. He is often referred to as the surgeon's surgeon, as many surgeons choose him as their own trusted doctor. As the author of Safety Guidelines and Masterclass instructor, he stresses the importance of hyper-specialization and patient care above all else. He is an entrepreneur in crypto, biotech, spirits, and real estate. His most proud achievements are the loving family he has with celebrity fitness instructor and wife, Lauren Neinstein. Awesome. So welcome to the Limitless One podcast, Dr. Ryan Neinstein.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nan, for having me. We just got out of surgery here at Neinstein Plastic Surgery. It was an amazing day in the operating room, as is every day when we have the opportunity to operate. And I've been looking forward to this for a few weeks. I'm glad we were able to connect, and I'm grateful that you're entrusting me with some space in this beautiful universe of yours.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much. Our audience is going to be in for an absolute treat today because there's so many awesome topics I want to get into with you. You know, coming out of the OR and jumping into a podcast, that's the stuff of legends right there. So just to give people an idea of what kind of guy this is. So anyways, I was talking to a good friend of mine, Adam Bland, a couple of weeks ago, and this guy has a lot of different contacts. Like he's text buddies with Tony Robbins and he knows so many different people. And he's like, you know what, you really need to connect with Dr. Ryan Neinstein. He is, a very unique individual, plays things the right way in terms of his business and the way he treats people. And he's ever evolving, expanding, great mindset. So if this guy's recommending it, I had to start learning about you and getting you on. And so far I have not been disappointed.
Nat, let me ask you, how old are you?
I'm 41.
So I'm not going to steal the directionality of this podcast, but I just want to bring this up. I was reading this Eiwa Kenzo, a Japanese archer from the 1800s. And you're going to think this is planned. If you're listeners, you're going to think we set this up. Okay. This guy figured out a way, to be one with the bow. And, a lot of people, high performance people, like this kind of teaching for whatever they're doing now, even though, it's not archery, it applies to anything. But his enlightenment, was at the age of 40. I am 41. You are 41. The guy who connected us is in that same age group. A lot of the authors I read, whether it's, thousands of years ago, Marcus Aurelius or Tim Grover, same age. I can't really explain it, but there is some type of pathway or zenith of enlightenment that people get. And I feel like they connect in that same time in their life. And I just knew you were the same age as me.
Yeah, that's so funny. 100%. It's yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I think that what I've been feeling is, first of all, my body. I've never felt better in my body. So when you're still your physical youth, and then you have all the wisdom of the experiences and the learning lessons and everything like that that come from making all the mistakes in the world, and then
Yeah.
to a conclusion of getting more connected with your mind, sharpening it, and becoming more efficient in the way you live life and becoming more time efficient. So I think those two combinations, youth and wisdom, this is the time where it's a prime of our lives. Like this is the time where we really can create all of the dreams that we have and the visions, and share it with the people we love most.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, except for one thing I realized day in and day out: as your island of knowledge gets bigger, your shore of ignorance gets bigger.
100%.
The more you think the more you find out you don't know. So
exactly, and that's
what keeps it exciting. That's what keeps everything exciting.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Neinstein, what does living a limitless life mean to you?
So I was listening to what others say to this, and obviously it's so easy to say, I believe in myself and, no boundaries. But to me, and like, that's probably what people think. And to me, it's almost useless saying, I have full belief in myself and that's why I'm limitless. Honestly, for me, something tactical, like when I think of a definition of limitless for me as a surgeon, it's getting to a place where confidence, having a bank account in my head of so many surgeries and so many successful surgeries, and competence, knowing how to navigate issues, when they intersect, I can get to a place in the operating room where like I have this suspension of like conscious thoughts, and I can get into like the Zen mode, and I can get to a new level of surgery because I have so much built up in my head, and that when it's pure joy and like exploration of that operation. And to me, that's what's limitless. It's getting to a place where I get to do my craft of choice, my craft of love, with almost no conscious thought.
Yeah,
that's where I feel you go to the next level.
Yeah, subconscious competence, but also loving that flow and being in an environment where you truly love to be, not just doing it because it's the 9 to 5 thing. That's really amazing.
Well, I think specifically, and let's talk about surgery because it's what I do. Up to a certain point, surgery is a lot of mental clutter. You spend so many years learning how the body works, and then so many years learning technical skills individually, and then bringing it all together has a lot of mental clutter. And then once you can get that mental clutter and that kind of willful will to get through an operation out of your head and become, it unburdens the nervous system and really allows your brain and body to explore, the limits of that operation and purely enjoy it. Like that, that unburdening the mental clutter of a task allows you to do the task obviously better, but enjoy it way more.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. I've been listening a lot to Dr. Joe Dispenza lately. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's been teaching meditation for a long time. But he talks about, if we want to start getting better at something or attracting things into our life, we have to go to a place of nothingness. And the more time we could spend in that nothingness, that's where creation comes from. So if we have, we're trying to meditate and we have a million thoughts in our head, like, that's all clutter. It's mental clutter. If we have all these tabs open in our computer, it's slowing the machine down. So essentially, yeah, when you remove all that stuff, then your true, like yourself, your form comes out, and you're able to experience limitless potential.
Just think about running down the stairs. If you tried to think of every joint, every muscle, every ligament in moving in sequence, you would fall flat on your face. Okay, because you couldn't do it. So many things being processed not even being processed. You can only run because you don't think about it.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your story. How did you get to this place in your life right now, this beautiful place?
So I grew up in Canada, grandchild of Holocaust survivors, always ingrained in me to work hard, have passion, but also have purpose of service. And that kind of put me on a direction towards medicine. I spent some time volunteering in the Israeli army as a paramedic, which really kind of shored up my passion towards medicine. And as I was going through the sequence of medical training, surgery just became, I hate, aha moment, but I knew exactly that I was going to be a surgeon. I didn't know what kind of surgeon, just that you were an inflection point on people's lives, that you got to make real impact with your hands in a short period of time. And then you move on to the next thing. Made a lot of sense to me. And then when I ended up coming to New York for extra training, I fell in love kind of with the culture of New York and the spirit of America. And I went through that sequence. I worked for someone, learned, and then, rented a dental chair with one employee who's still with me today, and just built from the ground up, just with pure authenticity of what I do, what I want to do, and raw passion for the work. And now we're almost at 30 staff members here at Neinstein Plastic Surgery. We have one of, if not the biggest physical location in the city for a plastic surgeon. And we are onboarding a new female plastic surgeon in a month, basically. So lots of things happening. Very exciting.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. I grew up around a lot of doctors. So my parents were both pediatricians. My sister's an Ayurvedic doctor, which is like an Eastern medicine doctor. My other sister is another pediatrician, behavioral developmental disorders. So I got to see the process, and it is a long, grueling process to go through med school, to finish your undergrad, go through med school, do the residencies, the fellowships, all that kind of stuff. So did you always have this mindset of growth, or were you kind of just like trying to get through that process, because it is very taxing on the body and also on the mind?
In retrospect, it seems crazy, but in the moment, at the time, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Surgical, whether it was medical school, staying up all night, studying pathology, chemistry, anatomy, whatever with my friends, it never seemed like a burden. It just seemed like what I was, meant to do at that time. I never looked too far ahead, in the sense that I can't believe I got to do this for 4 years and then surgical training for 7 years. I stayed in the moment, and I loved every second of it. Surgical training, I loved residency. Was it tiring? Sure. But I can't imagine anything have value not having, a certain amount of pain, because if you don't feel the pain, how are you going to get that rebound feeling of euphoria?
Yeah. 100%. And so when you signed that lease, obviously it's the first time as an entrepreneur. What was your vision for your practice at that moment? Do you remember?
Well, I have to give credit to my wife. I'd never even been to Bergdorf Goodman, the iconic building that we're in, but I knew it had views of Central Park, and I knew that helped bring my kind of vision of what I want to do, an artistic sense, to life. I was incredibly fearful. I was scared. I was afraid when I signed it. But a common theme in my life is being fearful, but having no doubt. Two parallel yet opposing emotions. I'm scared. I literally cannot cover this lease. And then on the same train of thought, but I have no doubt I'll be fine.
Yeah, so what a great way to look at things. It's almost a freeing sensation where, everybody feels a little bit of fear, but when and it's not even just okay, I'm going to have the monumental success or whatever, knowing that, yes, we have that. But at the same time, it's like every person has gone through a whole bunch of challenges in their life, and they're still here today. So if you think that a new decision that you make is going to lead you astray, it's only going to give you a learning lesson, whether it's in a way, that direction that moves you forward directly, or it's going to take you a roundabout way to get to the same point. But, we're still standing here. So it's, having that kind of fear is not really realistic when we look at the whole scope and the perspective of a larger viewpoint.
Yeah. Listen, if you're not making or taking risks that cause fear, I think you're limiting yourself. It's the doubt, and the reason I can have no doubt is because, I did all the training. I knew how to do the work. I knew how to, treat patients. So I was scared of the financial commitment, but I knew I'd figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah. Definitely. And so last time I checked in medical school, they don't have any business classes. So how did you learn how to run and operate and scale this amazing business of yours?
I don't think anyone, even if you take a business class, is going to understand how a small to medium-sized business works. The only way you can do it is to do it. And there's pillars that I tell people. First of all, you have to have something to do. At us, it's plastic surgery business, super hyper specialized. We know what to do. So we have a service to sell. But in terms of running the business, you start basic. You get a good accountant, you get a good insurance guy, you get a good lawyer, and then you need a mentor. You need to find someone, you can't go through life in a straight line without a ruler. So you find a mentor, someone you trust, someone who trusts you, who's going to be, honest and raw with you. And you just start going from there. And then you read as many books as you can, and you ask as many questions as you can, and you make as many mistakes as you can, and try not to make the same mistakes twice. You just continuously try to make new mistakes.
Absolutely. So
asking for help is the number one thing. Like, you can't figure out how to structure your, bonus and your year-end raises and your 401k and your professional growth. Like, you just can't figure that out on your own. But like, there are people who have done that for 30 years, and they're not going to know exactly how to do it for your business. They can give you a framework, and you start from there, and you just pivot and roll and figure something that works. And nothing ever fits perfectly. But when you put all these pieces together, they kind of all come together like a puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did you go about finding your particular mentor?
Mutual friend, just ended up, connecting on, common things like family, interest in sports, and entrepreneurial spirit. And when you just spend more and more time together, shout out to David Edelman, my mentor. And he comes from the real estate venture capital world, which has nothing to do with medicine, but running a business is running a business. It really doesn't matter what you're doing. It's people, it's services, it's marketing, it's infrastructure, it's supply chain. It really doesn't matter what you do. And we've had a great back and forth, relationship. And I hope he's taking away as much as I am. It's a real back and forth relationship.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And for anyone who's looking to find a mentor, and they might be a little bit intimidated to reach out to somebody who they think is a much higher level than them, especially if they're first starting out, what kind of advice would you give somebody seeking a mentor on how to go about that and how to add value in their life? So
you'd be surprised how willing people are to share their knowledge if you are willing to share how much you care about what they're sharing and about what you're doing. And people always have things in their life that are pain points that you can do. I really think you could get anyone on the phone and be like, I'm going to come clean your pool every day in the summer, for free. Cause, even if you have a pool company, they don't skim your pool every day. I'm going to go skim your pool. I just need 6 minutes of your time every third day. And by the way, you'll probably be the COO of that company in 4 to 6 years.
Yep.
Just find something that annoys people that they have to do, regardless of how wealthy they are. Offer to take away that pain, no matter how mundane that task is, in exchange for some time. And then that will transcend. And people like that.
Yeah, I love that advice. So just
walk their dog. Just bring them a coffee.
Buy their groceries.
Bring them a specific coffee that isn't on Postmates every morning that their assistant always gets wrong. Just figure it out.
Definitely. So tell us a little bit about your plastic surgery, your practice, and who you typically help in terms of plastic surgery.
So, our practice is focused on body contouring. We love body contouring. Traditional plastic surgery body contouring was people who didn't take care of themselves 30, 40 years ago, and they were using plastic surgery to kind of replace wellness. What we do now is help people optimize their wellness. We're part of their plan. We're sculpting, toning, tightening. Our sculpting program is really dedicated to people who are taking care of themselves, but have reached the limit of their bodies. And we help them go to the next level. We get those hard to get areas. You can have a very low fat percentage, but that fat percentage, body fat percentage, is stuck in one area. And it's super annoying to get rid of. And that's where we come in. Second, my personal favorite, where I capture the hearts and minds of my patients, because I have the hearts and minds of my wife, young mothers, or any age mother, the so-called mommy makeover, where we are undoing muscles that are stretched and torn, undoing skin that is stretched and torn, fat that's stuck on. Listen, at the same time, we're going to soup you up while we're there, but a Ferrari can always go faster. But we connect with these people. We make real changes in their lives, dramatic changes. There's a real sense of self. The delta change is significant and permeates into their whole life. If the mom is happy, the partner is happy, the children are happy. And that, that provides a real sense of self for us.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life. I practice that with my girlfriend as well. So when you're helping these moms get their sexiness back, like obviously they've gone through a lot through pregnancy and maybe multiple childs, and they don't necessarily feel physically the way that they did before. And when you're actually giving them that transformation, tell us some of the success stories that you've seen over the years. Not specific.
Well, listen, there's a mind-body connection, right? Yeah. And it's hard for people who haven't had their bodies stretched and torn to really understand what it's like to look in the mirror and really not even recognize who's there, because and reestablishing that mind-body connection. Mm-hmm. And this happens day in, day out, and is the fuel to the fire that keeps, the furnaces on here at Neinstein Plastic Surgery. Those are the changes. Also within our staff, Dr. Funderburk, who is the most honest, humble, nicest man in the world, one of our associate surgeons, just seeing, the happiness he gets, the sense of self he gets from his work day to day with patients makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's extremely fulfilling work to see somebody just like, even in my spa, when I see people coming out with a smile on their face, the stuff that's happened in their life and, they were able to let it go emotionally or whatever, just from a 60-minute zero gravity experience. It's it's very similar in the way that you're helping people feel a little better about themselves. And, I know like helping moms and everything like that, they truly love and appreciate it. But I'm sure you also get clients that, they see something on social media and they might have some unreasonable expectations in terms of how to change their body because there's so much photoshopping and everything like that. How do you deal with clients that come in with those goals?
So I actually think this is a big misconception. I really don't see as many people coming in and like showing me a picture of someone else and be like, I want to look like that. I don't know if it is just like, I keep hammering it at home, whether it's through social media, through things like this. Like, we're optimizing your body. We are not trying to make you look like someone else. We don't bring that kind of concept into our orbit. Mm-hmm. I really don't see a lot of people with, people may have unrealistic expectations. A lot of the unrealistic expectations is not what the surgery can do. It's what they're going to do with the surgery.
Got it.
It's the thing they think the surgery will accomplish in their life, whether it'll make their marriage better. A lot of the times those are the unrealistic expectations. But I think we're blessed. The type of people that come here, have a real sense of, where they are and what they're looking for. And they're pretty realistic.
Wonderful. When I was researching about you, the one thing that really stood out to me is your management style and your vision on how you go about, your business and valuing every single one of your team members. I actually got to interact with Mitch, who is one of your top guys there. And he set this whole thing up for us. And then also Nurse Chloe, who came in to my spa, who had a great experience over there. And just everybody's so excited to be a part of the ethos of your business. Can you tell us a little bit about how you went about and creating this flat hierarchy structure in your business rather than the top down structure?
So, it obviously starts with the core concepts. Like, if it's not good for the hive, it's not good for the bee. meaning you can't have people with their own agenda on the team. It's got to be for the goal, and the goals have to be simple. Number one, patient experience. Number two, team member happiness. I mean, we set the Northern Star pretty simple. Let's make the patients feel comfortable. Let's make the patients feel loved, and let's make each other feel loved. And so, those are our core cultures. How do I build my team members? I look for very high qualified specialists. These are people who have put in the work, shown the maturity that they're building, that they've put in the years of study. So number one, they come in sophisticated, highly qualified specialists. The second thing I look for in people, they have to have an eagerness to learn and improve. This is not the end of the line. It's not even the end of the beginning. It's not even the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the beginning. Okay. You have to have an eagerness to learn and improve. And by the way, we scare people away. There are a lot of people who come to interview who are looking to clock in, clock out. That doesn't work around here. That's fine. There's lots of places where you can clock in and clock out. And then again, when it comes back to that agenda, you have to have you have to generously share knowledge. Okay. One of our nurses spent a day at your spa. She comes in, she's sharing everything with everyone. Like, she wants the knowledge to be shared. Okay. If someone has a personal agenda to keep things to themselves, it's just a culture killer. And then really important, everyone has to be comfortable with feedback. So, we have a pretty good policy for raw honesty around here. We try not to just pat each other on the back. Like, if you're not, I don't want to say criticizing each other, but giving real feedback in a positive way. And when you have that respect, people can, you don't recognize the things you're doing that has faults. So you have to have someone that you respect, call you out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are the key things. If someone was going to ask me, what are the 4 key things to build your business? Get highly qualified people. They have to have eagerness to learn and improve. They have to be willing to generously share any new knowledge, and they have to be comfortable with feedback. If you don't have all those 4 in each and every team member, you're going to have problems.
I certainly agree. So I see, when I was talking to Chloe, she was saying that, you asked the team, is there anything that you want to do to learn to improve the value of the business and everything like that. And, she mentioned that she wanted to get a nutrition school and that you are like, yeah, let's do it. So tell us a little bit about your philosophy behind reinvesting in your team.
So I don't just guess at what I think people want. We do employee engagement surveys, which are very important. Okay. It's not like a 300 question survey that nobody wants to answer. Quarterly surveys, validated questionnaires, you can get them from Harvard Business School, and you need to figure out what's going on. You need to figure out how sticky, what's your stickiness to the business, meaning how much they love working there. What's the stickiness to each other, how much they love with each other. But you got to understand where their head's at with comp. And then you got to understand where their motivation is. And what we took away from our last employee engagement was we were good on stickiness to each other, stickiness to the organization, happy with comp as much as anyone can ever be. But in terms of motivation, people wanted more tangible skills, physical. Hey, I want to do more to help the business and to help each other and to help themselves. I'm okay with investing in someone who may go on to do something else, because you know what? I hope someone in here is like the CEO of a business 10 years down the road. And when they're doing a podcast from Mars in 20 years, they're going to say, I had a boss 20 years ago who stimulated me to be a better version of myself. So I'm not scared of investing and then leaving. So we've put together 3 pathways. We're going to send people to the Disney Institute for Executive Leadership, the Wharton School of Leadership and Nursing, and then the 3rd pathway is an HR or human capital strategy course. I think it's at Harvard. And then we have the potpourri. So one of our nurses wants to do an anatomy lab. One of our nurses wants to do a nutrition lab. They're all focused on doing something that improves themselves, but also contributes significantly to the ultimate goal. And by the way, once 1 or 2 does it, nobody wants to be left behind. So yeah, it's a big investment, but it puts a spring in their step.
Yeah, and you have loyalty, whether they move on or not. They're always going to speak so highly of you. One of the things I do in my first interview, and we're a small business. We're 4.5 years in. We're not doing like huge sums of revenue, but it's building up. But the first thing I say to them is, anytime you feel like it's time for you to move on and to grow to a better version of yourself, I will be the first person in your corner and congratulating you. And I want to be able to support you in anything you do going forward in life. And I think that like really motivates people to want to help you, because when you help them and in their life, whatever, even when they're working for you, if they need some assistance, they need a ride somewhere, whatever, I'm trying to do whatever I can for my employees, because I appreciate the value that they provide for me and my small business and the mission that we have and continuing on that stuff. So taking care of your employees should be like, required, mandatory, but not a lot of people do it. And I've seen a lot of medical practices, and it seems like a very stressful situation in many places. And, when you see a refreshing business like yours, where everybody's like,
listen, I'd like to talk about healthcare in general. Healthcare, I always joke, healthcare is like gas stations, like nothing's changed since 1920 in terms of customer service. Healthcare is something that should happen for patients instead of happening to patients. And everyone's gone to the doctor's office. You show up, old sign-in sheets, forms that were Xeroxed in 1984. No one really knows where it's going. They have one sign where they're talking about HIPAA compliance. And then on the second, they have a list of everyone, they want you to sign in so you can see everyone's name. It's like totally mind-bending.
Yeah.
You go and wait in a room. Someone comes in, they're chipper for the first, 3 minutes, and then they're, trying to get through the next person. And then you leave, you don't really know what just happened. And then you get a bill 3 months later. So It's, there's like no transparency, no accountability. On both sides, I understand that, by the way. This is the biggest issue in healthcare. Patients want more. Who doesn't? More time, more access, more info. At the same time, in most healthcare settings, the physicians are being reimbursed less and less and less. There are two opposing views. Patients want more, doctors are receiving less. So most physicians are remunerated or compensated based on the number of patients they treat, rather than the quality of the patients they treat or the quality of treatment they provide. So, these are almost existential questions, because insurance companies don't really understand how well you treated a patient. They just want to know, what the code was for the thing you did in that room. So the more rooms and codes you have, the better for the doctor.
Yeah. So the quality of the care is getting worse and worse. The doctors are just...
I don't know if the quality of care, again, you can look at quality of care in various forms, right? Quality of life, you can look at life expectancy, or you can get more, mercurial and start looking at, what is the quality of life of certain, ethnicities, you can go real deep. And by the way, you can probably find whatever answer you want.
Yeah, exactly. There's data for everything, right? Just like...
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
But, we try to make healthcare in our office a customer, we come at it from a hospitality, customer service, aspect.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality we frame here.
Mm-hmm. So what is your ultimate vision for the business? Is there a point where in your current location, you reach max capacity, you can't see any more patients? Like where do you go from there? What do you want to build with this business?
So, I know most entrepreneurs will always have some grand answer to this. They want to take over the space. They want to reinvent the wheel. They want to change healthcare. Honestly, I just want to have a legacy of providing the best possible patient experience. In terms of how big we grow, honestly, I don't really know. We have a third surgeon coming on. We have a beautiful space, and we're just going to focus on patient care. I'm not looking for a nationwide or international expansion. The things I want to do more of is write more textbooks, do more teaching, get more into the roots of plastic surgery, and almost less into the business expansion wise.
Mhm.
And I think that, while maybe limiting in, economic focus, it's, maximal in purpose.
Yeah. It's a beautiful answer. It's all about quality of life and doing things that you love to do rather than doing things just because, yeah, that's what the traditional route is for expansion or not. Thank you for that honest answer. So outside
Yeah, listen, I've been to, conferences, business conferences, and everyone is just talking about, their magic grand plan, how fast they can scale, how much they can chop costs. And it doesn't spark me. Like, I don't think I'd feel better about myself if I had 50 offices with 100 doctors that I don't know their name, talking to, providing care to patients that I don't know the quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not for me.
Yeah. So outside of your practice, I learned that you have many different interests, and cryptocurrency came up in the research that I did. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved in crypto, how you got attracted to it.
So I was lucky enough through some of the venture investing I do to get more into the machinery versus the end product.
Okay.
I've always just been interested in new technology, as we all are. And I think cryptocurrency is a function of new technology. Obviously, there is going to be competitors to fiat currency for whatever your, sociological definition of why crypto is so important. But I think it's the machinery within crypto that has broader implications. I think, when you take a blockchain technology, you can break that down into 50 different businesses that make that blockchain work. And a lot of those specific businesses are going to help other things, not just whatever the coin of the day is. So to me, my crypto investments have all been into the machinery and the back end, not the end coin.
Got it.
I like the mines. I don't like the coins.
Yeah. It's an interesting perspective for sure. Yeah. I mean, at the time of this recording, at this very moment, yesterday, we witnessed a huge drop in the price of Bitcoin. Ethereum.
I don't even know what it is. And I don't even care because I'm more interested in, how do you build it and how do you move it? Because if you can build stuff and move stuff, you can build stuff and move stuff in any industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So as we're looking at, maybe a little bit of a drawdown in the markets, in the economy, recession, is there any different things that you're looking at in terms of, obviously not financial advice or anything like that, but any sectors that you're watching closely?
Whenever there's a downturn in the economy, you always want to squirrel a little bit away. Mm-hmm. But I personally believe downturn in the economy is the biggest opportunity for great business operators. Okay. No matter what business you're in, when the economy is flush, poorly run businesses will thrive because there's just so much demand. Even in my business, people are busy. People who don't do things, we're just busy. As people become more strategic and tactical with their finances, they're going to be more strategic and tactical in their choices in anything, including plastic surgery. So we are looking to grow during this period as we see an economic downturn, because we're not going to invest in other things. We're going to invest in ourselves, because I know the infrastructure is sound.
Yeah.
If a patient is looking for safe, predictable surgery, this is the spot to go. And they're not going to be lured in a down economy by glitz and glam. It's who wrote the textbooks on techniques, who wrote the textbooks on safety, who does the most amount of cases, and why do they do a lot of cases? Because they have a big team. There's a lot of people looking after you here, and that's not going anywhere. So to me, when the economy goes south, you bet on yourself. When the economy's up, you bet on other people.
Yeah. Very simple. I like it. And so the common thread on my podcast in terms of all my guests is that everyone is not only living such a passionate, primary career, something that they love to do with their purpose, but also maintaining a beautiful family life, harmony in their mental, physical, and spiritual practices. Tell us a little bit about some of the routines you do, because you have so many things going on. How do you center yourself? How do you find that in your life?
A couple of things. So I think it's really important that people know work-life balance means something different to everyone. Mm-hmm. And, I will admit one of my biggest faults, and I don't even know if it's a fault, is I don't really care about work-life balance, to be honest. I love my family. I sacrifice so much other things, and I don't care about the sacrifices. Mm-hmm. I don't need to go to dinner. I don't need to go to events. I don't need, unfortunately, I won't see friends as much. It's family and work, because those are the two things that are mutually, I'm essentially in love with. So, and I think work-life balance is different at different stages of your life. Like, I'm in it. Okay. I'm in it. I love it. I'm happy to work 16 hours a day, 6 days a week. I don't complain. I love it. The way I frame my life, that gives me, again, it's all about reducing mental clutter so I can focus. To me, that's routine. Just like professional athletes do the same thing. Routine unburdens my mind. So, I get up about 4:15, 4:30 every morning. First thing I want to do after I give my dogs a treat is read. I like to read something pretty stimulating, like philosophy, whether it's this morning a book on Hemingway or Napoleon. I need to read something for about 20, 30 minutes. Then I like to clear my inbox. At that, I go through mission critical emails. And then at 5:30, I'm in the gym with my trainer, Frank. And then at this point, I've kind of mentally got my mind right. I've unburdened myself from my inbox of what I need to do. And I'm physically ready. I'm ready to jump over a wall and run through it if I have to at that point. And then I hit the day all the way through. And then it's important to me, eat healthy, go to sleep early, spend time with your loved ones. I get rid of the noise. A lot of things people do for fun that they call balance. I don't, but I don't care.
Yeah, like you said, everybody defines it in a different way, and we prioritize the things that matter most to us. But it's good from doing it from a place of empowerment and making the choices yourself rather than letting other people.
My wife will tell me it's sacrifices. Friends will say, you missed this. I don't care. I don't care. I know where I'm going. I know what I need to do to get there, and I'm more than happy to do it. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I feel like they're missing out.
Yeah, they don't get to spend time with you, right?
No, just I'm okay with being in my office after 16 hours and calling 10 patients that I need to call. I don't put that off, and missing a dinner with friends. It's not even a choice for me.
So you mentioned your lovely wife. I saw in the research that I did, you met her at a yoga retreat. Can you tell us the story about that?
Yeah, I went on a yoga retreat to meet a girl, and I've never done yoga since. So I'm good to go. Yeah, it's fantastic. I really met someone that just pure soulmate, absolutely in love. She's just the most fun, sweetest person who can just tear you up when you need to be. But, the reason why our marriage is so strong, and by the way, everyone's marriage has ups and downs. It's not, preventing ups and downs. It's how you interact with each other. And we just have such high level abilities to communicate when we're upset with each other, which allows us, to not make little things, big things. But we are a total partnership. We have roles and responsibilities that allow us to do the things we want to do, the things we need to do for our family. And we work on it. We talk about it. And it's a constant moving target. But both, it's not, 50-50, it's 100-100.
Yeah. Absolutely. And coming to the table as a complete person on your own, happy, healthy mind, body, spirit. And if each person is bringing that to the table, and also a high level of communication, and that's only also with your friends, your relationships, your employees, everyone, but especially your primary intimate partner, that is the most important thing you can be doing, and bring your best self to the table.
100%.
Yeah. Dr. Neinstein, I want to appreciate and thank you so much for coming on. I have one last question for you. So why do you think you came here to Earth as Dr. Ryan Neinstein? What did you want to experience?
Honestly, the thing I wanted to experience most is, being a father and a husband. 100%. I am a better surgeon. I am a better boss. I'm an entrepreneur. Everything I am is better because of being a father and a husband. Period. Full stop.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Coming right out of surgery onto the Limitless One podcast. This is going to be amazing, and I'm sure the audience is going to love it and start following you on Instagram. Where can we learn more about you?
So at Dr. Neinstein and NeinsteinPlasticSurgery.com, and we'll go from there.
Beautiful. And they have a beautiful view of the park, the Central Park, in their office. It's it's a world-renowned facility that so many people go to, so many high-level people, and he's such a wonderful person. So check him out and start learning more about this amazing human being.
Love it. Thank you. This is great.
Thank you.